All right, it's Wednesday, June 17th. It is Hump Day, and I'm here with Sara Haines.
Because it's Haines on Hump Day.
Haines on Hump Day. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm glad to have you here. It's been a really big week.
I'm exhausted. I feel like I've run a marathon.
I am too. I was like, after yesterday's show, I was like, it's Friday, right? We're done? No, it's Wednesday.
Just the midweek.
It's just the midweek. But it's hard to imagine a stronger start to the week. So yesterday we had on the Vice President of the United States, JD Vance. It got a lot of attention, a lot of articles written, a lot of comments on social media. What did you make of what he had to say?
So I read the book, and he showed up the way I thought he would. I mean, I don't know how to answer it any better. He's a good politician.
Yes. So he came in, with an agenda, but
and prepared. And he's for anyone who has thoughts about him, he's very kind. In person, he carries himself a certain way, but
kind, respectful,
all those things.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I learned in that interview or had even clarification in that interview. I kind of think the answers made sense for who he is. The explanations didn't live up to what you'd hope for. And the thing I wanted to know the most, I didn't really hear.
Yeah. Well, so it's interesting because I saw a lot of people online wondering how we put these segments together and how we decide who asks what and who works on it. And I saw some from people that are not fans of the show saying they're just reading what the producers gave them and yada, yada, yada. But you spent quite a bit of time, and we worked our producer Carly did a fantastic job with this segment, with these segments. But you work with producers on what's important to you to talk about and really craft your questions with them. And in particular, you had one question that I think was very much from your heart and impactful and designed by you.
Well, I think the background on that is I'm not a political pundit. I don't come from a political world. I'm kind of a little nerdy on what I seek out to read about or care about. So it's not necessarily the best stuff to produce on TV and all the things. I say that because I always ask myself before an interview, if I had one question with this person, what do I want to know? And you've heard my stories about asking Hillary Clinton things in the commercials. And for me, JD Vance and a book on faith, the question came to me early about reconciling his participation and the decisions and the things he's complicit in with a Christian faith in general. But the book spoke at length about how deeply faith-based he is, but more so how the impact he wants to have on his kids. And I think anyone that's a parent can relate to loving your children. And I think that has been a lot of the problem that comes home to me in questions. And I just was curious how JD Vance, for what he himself has said and done, but even more so as he stands next to President Trump, what he's either not spoken up about or said, because you can't get a more pure human than Jesus Christ. And as someone who really tries to act and speak in a way that honors that example as a Christian, as a mother, a daughter, all the things, I don't know how he does what he does and writes what he writes. And something's missing. It doesn't track.
I understand that. And I thought your question was very sincere and well thought out, and I really thought I thought it was great. He didn't really answer it.
No.
Do you think there is a sincere answer for this? I mean, I'll be honest, I struggle with my kids explaining what's going on. How aware of...
We don't, screen time, and that includes not just tablets and things, it includes TV. We're very, we have a lot of oversight and time limits on that stuff. And whereas CNN, before we had kids, we had the TV on at all times just to see headlines. Max is a huge consumer of it. I've always been in it, so I'm always watching, and it just kind of played in the background. We stopped doing that when we had young kids because we didn't want the screens on in general. But I realized they learn a lot at school and young.
Yeah.
Because Alex in 4th grade and 10, and he's been bringing questions home from every time there's been an election to candidates. He'll sometimes ask us things about it. And it's twofold. I want to help my kids understand, but I also want to remind them that they need to create opinions of their own and that they're going to have to find their own way through things when it comes to people and what they think and politics and voting and all that. It's been trickier because I think more households talk about President Trump than most people, because he is admittedly, whether you're a fan or not, an unprecedented example as a president of the United States both times. So I just think when the kids come home, Alec asks the most questions. He's the oldest. I have to find a way, because I'm also the one next to him at church on Sunday. And I try to filter and not hide things from Alec, but he'll ask some really great questions about why people are treated a certain way. And I try to steer it back to, how do you think they should be treated? Because it's really hard to explain away much of what we're seeing. We grew up, you and I, in a different time when politicians, whether our parents agreed with their policies or not, that was a fair conversation. But it wasn't bad examples. It wasn't embarrassing. It wasn't things you had to turn off in front of your kids.
It's not something I've talked to my kids about very much. And I think I'm starting to think maybe I've done them an injustice on it, because I was naive to how much they know on their own anyway. And my 11-year-old was, when she heard we were having the vice president on, was asking me detailed questions with, she honestly, she had several questions for the vice president that would have been good to use on the show. And I was astounded by it, because I had no idea that she had any kind of political awareness or any kind of this or the other thing. And I've done it by design, partly because when I come home, I don't want to talk about politics anymore. That's a big part of it. And partly because I do want to put them in a bubble, and because I don't want them to grow up with a perception of government that is different than the one I grew up with, because this is such an outlier right now.
Yeah.
Everything is. And maybe I'm wrong, but part of me thinks that maybe at some point things will go back to normal, whether that's normal Republican, normal Democrat, normal anything. And I feel like there's a generation that's known nothing but this, that is going to have a very different feeling for what it means, what it means to be in the administration than you and I had growing up. Whether,
I don't remember, and part of this is also not just the politicians in DC, although they have all changed. It's the news cycle. We didn't grow up in a 24/7 cable news cycle or with smartphones in our hand. So the consumption and the volume is also flooding the zone in a very confusing and vitriolic way due to algorithms and all the other things. But I do want my kids to understand that you don't have to hate people that disagree with you.
Well, that's a big part of it for me, because there's people in my family that feel differently about politics than we do. And I don't want my daughters to not feel the same way about those members that they did before, or friends that we have, or anything else. I don't want them to be talking about this.
I don't want them to be taught, by the way, that it matters what jersey you're wearing, unless it's the New York Knicks. I don't want to know about a
We'll get to the Knicks soon, believe me.
That's my tease. But I don't want them to think that way. I don't want them to have a litmus test based in 3 questions whether they like someone. I want them to find what they have in common. I want them to be curious. I want them to be critical thinkers.
So going back to Vance, is there an answer he could have given you that you would have taken? I mean, what you said basically is, how far will you go for power? And that was the most impactful thing, I think.
Yeah, and that's because his book is about, he admits he was seeking ambition for much of his life. And I found that a rich admission, because as the book goes on, you're kind of watching that play out in some of the subtext of how his life turned out. But it's also really hitting the question, which I quoted back to him, but a tweet he made in 2016 after the Access Hollywood tapes, which is, hey, fellow Christians, everyone's watching us apologize for this man. Lord help us. I don't know if I have exact, but it's around that thing. And when I saw that, even though it was a 10-year-old tweet, the message is what captured what I'm saying.
Right.
Is because his whole book then goes on to explain that his evolution was about how it's not just good people, it's good policy that you can get behind, because he's a rabid pro-lifer and he has certain beliefs, and he felt by effectuating those changes in legislation and policy, he was doing his part in a Christian way. I would argue the how matters, and that's what I was trying to get at.
Right, and he was implying that his perception of Trump had been manipulated by the media also. And there was a lot of, actually, when you watch it back, because I've watched it several times now, there were a lot of implications that, media should not be trusted over and over again, just kind of woven into everything he's saying, which, I agree there are avenues of media that shouldn't be trusted.
Right.
But there were also places to go for truth.
Another part that was problematic, we couldn't get to in this segment, but he also opens his book up with a lot about how people's faith and belief systems are shaped by what he calls trusted sources, which are, you don't go and verify the Bible. You don't go and check if certain things happened or didn't happen. You trust the Bible, and you trust the ministers and the pastors and the priests, or whatever faith you follow, your religious leaders and all this stuff. As he's spelling it out in faith, I thought, and see, this is one of my problems with you. When you are a trusted source, you should carry that with the privilege and responsibility that gives you, which is you're a trusted source for so many people in this country. When you knowingly betray them about things like an election being stolen, when President Trump himself said in front of Elizabeth Griffin, I can't believe I lost to that guy. Like, people in his inner circle know he knows. To be a part of that messaging is to slowly degrade trust. And people trusted you. And I take that part very seriously.
Well, one thing I think that will help with trust is going into places where people disagree with you and you have to face honest questions. And I'm grateful that he did that yesterday. Yeah. And I'm grateful for you guys for asking tough questions. And there was a lot of discourse online saying that, the ladies of The View held him to a higher standard than the White House press corps. And I don't know if that's true, but it was nice to read.
Well, I think the thing about our table, when you said people mention how did these segments come together, there are producers that help the flow of it, because you don't want to jump from a Epstein to a book to you're trying to kind of find a
But no one's asking a question that they don't feel strongly about asking.
No, because the challenge the producer has is we bring what we care about. And you'll notice we can care about more than one thing, but there's a certain ownership at a table of multiple people where the producer tries to honor your curiosity for that person.
And when it overlaps, you guys figure out, like, I care about a lot of them. You care about Epstein very much, but you let Sonny ask the questions about Epstein. Like, it's how we work together.
We'll often say this question, I want to ask this question, and they'll say, oh, we have that for so-and-so. And I'm like, just as long as it's being asked.
Absolutely. Joy said yesterday about your question that you went for the low blow and brought up the kids. That made me laugh.
I love that. That's what it.
That's how she takes your heartfelt.
Well, you know what it is my brain works in finding what I have in common with someone.
Yeah.
The differences are very clear with JD Vance of what we disagree on.
Yes.
And it goes into policy. It goes into life decisions. It goes into 1,000 things. But we do have a shared faith. And I don't care if it's the same faith. If you're a religious or faithful person with virtuous outlook, then I align with you. Parents align, spouses align. There's a lot of things that JD Vance and I both have. The breaking point is, how can you explain so much of your life and your decision making when you too turn to your kids and have to put your head down at night? Right. And I just was curious, really genuinely curious, and I wish he would have answered, when is too far? Where's the line for you?
Now, maybe someone else will ask again, and maybe we'll get an answer eventually.
Maybe.
We've had a big week this week, like I mentioned, but the VP was exciting. But I got to tell you, maybe more exciting, Jalen Brunson was here on Monday, and that was right on the heels. We were the first solo interview we did on a talk show after becoming the Finals MVP and the Knicks, which means so much to you, winning the championship. Did you watch? I assume you watched the game. Where did you watch the game?
So I watched at my friend Jamie's. She had a watch party.
Oh, great.
And it was really a close group of friends and all their kids that are also friends of various ages. So she had a theater room. So we started upstairs around the food and everything. And then slowly we took over where the kids were. And
Biggest
the end of the
possible.
game was just adult. And the kids are in the back. But it was so special. And I think I've said this. I'm a Knicks fan. I love basketball is my favorite sport to watch. The Knicks and the Liberty, and they've been my favorite teams to watch. I think what I've loved, and I almost wish we had the whole team, because I think the best part of Jalen is he is very team-minded. He's always talking about the team, and so much of the beauty of this version of the Knicks are those relationships, whether it's with his dad, who's a coach, whether it's with all the other teammates. He's someone that leads like a captain should, and to watch them win the way they did, to watch how tight those games are. The Spurs are an amazing team, and they are the future of the NBA. The youngest team, Wembanyama, is kind of single-handedly going to be...
He's going to be the face of the NBA.
He's going to be the face of the NBA.
If not for Jalen.
So all of those things mean there's going to be a long road for them. I wanted those games to be close, because I think, to see that level of fight
Yeah.
is just awesome to watch.
Yeah. This is now a rivalry, which is
It is a
moving
rivalry.
forward. Yeah.
And it was fun because the last time I heard New York City screaming was a pandemic, when we'd go out on our porches and scream
applaud for
about the nurses
Yeah.
and the doctors. And although that wasn't a unifying spiritual moment, we were also in a time of being apart and not going out and not connecting.
Yes.
So for this scream to be literally body surfing over everybody in blue and orange, aside from the violent responses, which disgust me, you've lost the plot when you start attacking
Yeah.
people and damaging things. I'm not talking about those people. But the revelry of most, like, to be able to celebrate with my 10-year-old son as much as my husband, like, was awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I couldn't get my girls into it yet, but I'm trying over and over again. I need one of my kids to watch games with me.
And honestly, once they do and learn a lot
Yeah.
of the storylines, it becomes it's the people that make it for me.
They like going.
Yep.
They like going, but I can't get them to sit on the couch and like hold in long enough. They lose interest very quickly.
Start telling them storylines, though.
Yeah.
Like, if you start doing, it's almost like Olympic profiles. I always thought when you get people's heart involved, it's not the team, it's not the numbers, it's not the stats. Tell me the stories. Tell me the Cinderella points in these people's lives. Tell me how they got here.
Can get into. Yeah.
Because then you're pulling them in through their heart, not their eyes.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to try with the Giants, and as the Yankees move closer to the playoffs, I'll try that
If
again.
you want to get me in on the Giants and Yankees, I've got work to do over in that lane. I'm just Knicks.
All right. We'll see what we can do. Well, I thought you were Jets too now, right?
Jets due
Yeah.
to a friend connection, but I have to be Giants because of Michael.
Yeah, of course.
So I've got a lot of
I
must-dos.
mean, the fact that you hosted a television show with Michael Strahan and still don't
Oh,
care
I
about the
watched
Giants.
one of the Knicks game with Michael
Yeah.
on a couch.
But you're still not a Giants. Like, you can't like sit and watch.
Like, I think I like the heart of lesser talent. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when you're watching professional sports, you normally lose me on a lot of professional sports because I feel like before all this endorsing in college came around, college teams were driven by heart. A lot of those people aren't going on to any
true.
professional sport. So it still was that extension of childhood when you played next to your friends.
You would like Jameis Winston on the Giants. I got to get you into him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a backup quarterback, but he's all heart.
Jameis
Winston.
done. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll talk about all this
Okay.
and maybe get you in a fantasy league.
Okay.
All right. That'd be fun. Okay. So you have a new TV obsession. You're, again, late to the game, as you are in all things.
Everything.
Your new TV obsession is The Real World. No, I'm just kidding. You're not that late.
Not that
it's
late.
Summer House.
Summer House.
Years later, you could join the popular obsession after everyone else is done.
After.
Tell me how you got into this.
So I may live in New York, but I'm still Iowan, which means there was a time without technology where it took about 10 years for things to make it to the middle of the country.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm right on time,
Okay,
according
the
to
VHS
my
tapes have arrived.
Yes.
Yes.
We just got it. But I got into Summer House because there's a bunch of people on the staff that are my friends that are obsessed.
Yes.
And when someone you love cares about something, it becomes contagious eventually. And everyone got me watching this Summer House reunion. And so I watched it. But then I was so deeply invested. I haven't watched last night's, but I was so deeply invested that I went back to watch season 10. I've got a lot of feelings. And
We're aware.
so I dropped into Kyle Cook's DMs yesterday.
Oh, my God. You're cold
I just
DMing?
cold DM'd. Pretty sure he hasn't read it. I'm buried in some kind of unfollowed,
Yeah.
like missed message.
Yeah, he gets a lot of those, I'm guessing.
I'm sure he does.
Okay.
But I needed to go on record. I mean, I really needed to speak up. My heart goes out to Kyle Cook, and watching him has been very painful.
Okay, so
for me.
I'm only borderline following all of this, but isn't he a villain? Wasn't he the guy everybody hated?
So let me just be clear. I've only watched season 10.
Okay.
A lot of people seem to hate him, but
Right.
I think I have fresher eyes because I'm not carrying a narrative.
Okay, so he broke up with his wife and he ended up with her best friend.
Well, no, not him. Her.
Her best friend.
No, so, sorry. So Kyle and West
Yes.
are good friends.
Yes.
And Sierra and Amanda are good friends.
Yes.
Amanda and Kyle, married.
Yes.
Separate.
Yes.
Amanda hooks up with her best friend's ex.
Oh, so she's the villain.
She's the villain.
Okay.
But what's worse is take away that affair altogether, which is really stealing all the headlines.
Right.
It's juicy, whatever. It's bad, all the things. Just watch season 10 and how Kyle Cook is treated by his wife. people keep coming up to me that have watched for years, my friends, and they're like, "Yeah, but you don't understand. A lot of things happen."
Alyssa was very anti-Kyle at one point.
Yeah,
I
and
remember this.
I get it. I think came on the show once when we were talking about if your husband wants to be a DJ and
Yes.
be out in the middle of the night and not be at home. Yeah, that sucks. Nothing merited the treatment he has gotten.
Ooh.
It's bullying. It is absolutely bullying, and I say this with complete. I know it's funny. I know it's. I'm getting it really invested, and I know I dropped into his DMs. But I actually was having a visceral reaction watching the group at times bullying Kyle. Amanda, his wife, did things that I would never do to Max. Max would never do to me. Like the demeaning in front of people. She's in cliques and groups where she's sitting around. Her husband, they're the only married couple in the house. Her husband is there. She's making jokes at his expense. The whole group's laughing, even if it were benign jokes. You don't make someone feel that way. You don't make anyone feel that way, let alone your most intimate partner. Get a divorce. They're not a good match. Fine. But don't torture him. There are points where he's slurring and he's like, I'm trying so hard and no one's hearing me. And I was like, I hear you, Kyle.
Okay. Is that what you wrote to him? I hear you, Kyle?
Essentially, it was a few paragraphs. And Vicky
Oh
was
my
like, oh my
God.
God, you wrote a book. The good thing is this is the one time I write a book to a guy that doesn't respond that
Yeah.
I'm not trying to date.
Yes.
But
Does Max know that you're in the other guy's DMs?
no, he'd be like, what the hell are you doing, Sarah? But,
Yeah.
but he'd probably actually also be like, of course you did. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Also,
what
can
she
you
does.
do this for like people I want to book on the show? Can we do that? Can we have you like...
Yeah, but you know what? Like, literally, if you saw this, I need him to know that I see him.
Okay.
Because, and I know a lot of people are getting on board, but I said, I just have to share how hard it's been for me to watch the season of Summer House. I'm a new convert to the series. So other than the reunion, I've only watched this season. I know that the West Amanda scandal has ruled the headlines, but I cannot endure how she has treated you. I know as a TV person that we don't see everything, but I can't help but feel so bad for how you're treated. And then when I went on to tell him he deserves so much more, and I had to tell him because I'm having a really hard time watching.
I think we need to have you look direct to camera and say, this is Sara Haines' message to Kyle. And
Kyle knows I'm in his DMs. He just needs to find me.
okay.
Yeah, but I need him to know because honestly, it actually is making me the amount. How many times are we going to put that guy in front of a camera where he's like, she hates me. Does anyone see it? And I'm like, I see it, Kyle. Everyone sees it, Kyle. Like, and I still have friends, making excuses for, he was really a jerk in past seasons. I'm like, there's no world in which you could tell me he did something. We're bullying him slowly rather than just separating from him or addressing as a married couple the issue at hand rather than laughing with your friends. Like, it's really sad and pathetic behavior that was cheered on because he stays up late and drinks too much and sometimes tells her to off. Like,
Do you feel like you and Kyle, if you weren't married, would be a connection?
no. I'm not attracted to him at all.
Okay.
I have a lot of people I am attracted to, but not him.
Not him.
Josh
Okay.
Hart, I'm attracted to.
Yes.
Max knows he's
Yeah,
my
that's
basketball
fine.
crush.
I understand. Yeah.
He's hilarious.
I mean, anybody
not
on the
attracted
Knicks.
to
I'm
Josh
attracted
Hart?
to all the Knicks right
Yes,
now.
hello.
Yes, it's fine.
So we're good. But no, it's more because I can literally, as an empath, feel his pain, and I need him to know he's not crazy. What she's doing is not right, and they should never have probably been together. But that's it.
I don't know why this affects you so deeply. Did someone in a previous relationship treat you in this way?
No, I don't. No, I would never have. I would never have stood for that
Being disrespected,
behavior.
yeah.
I mean, so severely. There's a time where like Kyle's
And it's not like shtick. Like I make fun of my wife, she makes fun of me, and like we all laugh about it.
it's
and,
deeply like I know
it's, like,
this
real.
group's with me. Let me troll him, and everyone will be like,
Wow.
"Poor you." Like she walks off. Her only storyline is her marriage to Kyle, and now her affair. So that's all she had anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like waving the victim flag while preying on a victim.
Now, you mentioned storyline. I have to go back to the last thing you caught up with very late, which was the reality show kind of...
Unreal.
Yeah, Unreal,
Yeah.
which kind of exposed reality shows as
Yeah.
kind of all fake.
Yeah. I don't think I can
You're still here, though. You're still feeling this very deeply.
because of the way they clip it. Again, I'm sure you can tell when a conversation
Okay,
like
I'm getting notes from the producers. Summer House is not fake, and I know it's not fake, but
no,
it's
but what I mean
manipulated.
is you can tell when I can now identify when a conversation all of a sudden happens
Right.
that they're trying to tie a storyline in. I can see a producer probably going, hey, go play cornhole and ask him about that situation.
right, that
I can
stuff.
tell when they're doing
Yes.
that. But the camera clips and what they're doing, there could
It's
be
real.
I'm seeing enough out of their own mouths
Mm-hmm.
to see what's happening. And I'm going to go back and watch all those seasons and dig for whatever could have merited the behavior on this show. And so far, I have not.
All right, I think you need to not only do this, but also talk about it, blog about it, the Summer House rewatch with Sara Haines, and I think it's important.
I don't think anyone cares.
I think after this, people are going to be concerned about your state of being.
I know, and I'm not even going to cry, but I do think beyond, I think people need to just take the affair out of their minds and stop, because I think a lot of people go back and they're like, now I feel bad for Kyle because Amanda had an affair. Erase the affair. I don't care about the affair. Amanda is acting inappropriately and demeaning. I don't like bullies. I do not like bullies. There's a sense of justice for people that are left behind and stepped on, and Kyle has been destroyed, and it's not fair.
You have to ask Amanda the JD Vance question. How do you speak to...
How do you reconcile your behavior? Well, I'm learning there's more coming out. People are sending me clips of things that I'm like, this behavior is not new for someone who does this.
Now, I have to clarify here. Amanda did not have an affair.
Sorry, do I keep saying affair?
Yes, they have been separated since January.
I say affair because married or not, separated or not, you're sleeping with your best friend's ex and your ex's good friend. So,
all right, last part of this. Is that off limits in your mind? Could you, let's say, you become available, any of Max's friends, that's off limits. You would never do that.
No, that feels like anything too close to Max feels
right.
Aggressive. Not even safe for me. Like if you're separating from someone, it's like a prenuptial. It's not financial. It's just what you came in with. Your friends are yours.
I agree.
My friends are mine.
Yes.
Like never the two shall meet.
Agreed. All right, we've covered a lot today.
I know.
This is really
world peace.
Yes.
And peace for Kyle.
I'm not sure what you were most passionate about between Kyle, JD Vance, and Jalen Brunson.
Knicks.
Go Knicks, no.
Go Knicks.
Go Knicks, go. All right. Thank you for joining me today, Sara Haines. Tomorrow, I'll be back with Anna Navarro, always a crowd pleaser. And we'll see you then.